So I've been playing Age of Empires 4 since it released late in 2021. And I gotta say, there have been tons of improvements to the game since launch with balance changes, new content. Now there's a Season 1 launch that just happened earlier last week. So I think now is a really good time to dive in and review Age of Empires 4. If you're either someone who's played previous games in the series and have not picked up Age 4 yet, or you're completely new to this genre, have never played a game in the series before, let's answer the question, should you buy Age of Empires 4? Well, if for better or for worse, if you really like the Age of Empires formula, you're going to fit in really well with Age of Empires 4. I like the different change in how you age up in Age of Empires 4 compared to previous releases, and it seems to fit right well at home. What happens to age up to get to the next advancement to kind of progress through the ages is you're going to need a certain amount of resources. Then you need to make a decision on a particular building that you want to build. Most of the time, the game offers you an economic building or a military building. You need to make a decision on which one fits for that particular match or your play style. This can be a bit overwhelming for new players who are new to this style of game, but I think if you've played an Age of Empires game in the past, this works out really, really well. One thing that's different in Age of Empires compared to other games like Command & Conquer and Halo Wars 2 is you need to manage both your economic units as well as your military units. So Halo Wars 2 and Command & Conquer really hold your hand from the economic side to help you focus in on just combat gameplay. Whereas with Age of Empires 4, it's kind of 50-50. You need to have a balance between managing your eco units as well as your military units. As you progress later on in the game, it gets a little bit easier because you can do things like set up trade routes, and that takes care of a lot of resource gathering for you. But I would say for the first 2 or 3 ages in the game, you're going to be really focused on your economic units. If you're someone who plays, say, Halo Wars 2 or Command & Conquer, and you're not a fan of leader powers, you're going to enjoy Age of Empires 4. There's no leader powers that can instantly wipe out an entire army. There are units that do a lot of damage to big groups like mangonels, but other than that, it's really just based on who can have the better strategy in Age of Empires 4. There's also a huge variety in the characters or civilizations that you can play in the game. And from my memory, there's about 7 or 8 civilizations. There's English, Holy Roman Empire, French, Chinese, Abbasid, Delhi, and Russia. They all play very, very differently. I'd say the 2 that are the most similar are English and French, and maybe you could arguably say HRE as well. But there's a different style in how these civilizations age up. For example, China is very, very different if its playstyle compared to English, but they all have unique benefits, unique units, and different architecture. Even there's little details such as your villagers, their language will improve and they'll have more vocabulary as you progress through the ages. That's really, really cool. And surely, if you've played an Age of Empires game in the past, you'll know that there's a lot of content that'll be constantly coming to this game. I think one thing that sets Age of Empires 4 different from previous games in the series is that there's huge map variety with seeds. So every map is going to be different every single time, and it can range in differences quite drastically, especially if you play on something like the new Mega Random type seed. It takes pretty much all of the biomes and feature sets of different maps and kind of combines them into one, and you have absolutely no idea what you're going to get, and it's really, really awesome. I would say one thing that can be overwhelming for new players is the skill level for PvP. I would say it's actually quite high currently. I've been playing Age of Empires 4 since it came out. I'm no way considered to be a really good player, but oftentimes I can find myself struggling unless I'm in with a group of friends such as Gus and Hosty and Bonzi that can really help me elevate my game and communicate. However, there is AI play skirmishes that are designed to mimic the playstyle of real players, and of course that's scalable, so you can make that easier or harder depending on how you want to learn in Age of Empires 4. And speaking of learning, there's some great tools to learn how civilizations work and what their benefits are. there's things going from basic movement and how units counter other units to really advanced techniques. And the game does a great job of holding your hand the entire way. There's also these things called mastery challenges, which are unique to each civilization, and they gradually get harder and harder, but they grant XP and emblem unlocks, so you can really showcase, and it's presented right on your profile page, so everyone knows how far you progressed in a mastery for each civilization, kind of showcasing how much you know of each civ before you get into a match. As I was saying earlier, Season 1 just released in Age of Empires 4 with ranks, so if that's something you're interested in, you can go ahead and queue up in ones and get your rank in Age of Empires 4. That's something that the community has really been looking forward to, and it's in Age, and it's great. A lot of people really enjoy that. If you're someone who likes to play a little bit more casually, well, Age of Empires 4 has you covered there. There's a custom games browser for more casual games. And there's also custom-made maps from the community as well. So if you don't like the feature set of the maps that are currently in the game, hopefully someone in the community has made a map that you really connect with, and you can create a lobby and have players join and play on that custom map. Overall, if you were to ask me, should you buy this game? I would say yes, absolutely. It's an excellent showcase. The graphics are incredible. The effects in the game are really interesting. The mechanics, I would say, are simple to learn but hard to master, especially with learning each civilization. The balance right now, I would say, is on an equal level playing field. I don't really think there's one civilization that everyone picks to get an advantage on compared to other civilizations, by and large. There's regular content updates. The developers are listening to community feedback and implementing changes based on that feedback, and it has an active player base. It offers so many playable options. You can play the single-player campaigns, do the masteries for the civilizations, casual custom games, PvP, ranked solos, AI skirmish. This is all there currently. There is a theater mode where you can watch back your own games as well as games from almost anyone that you've seen play on Age of Empires. You can watch them play some of their previous matches. It's free right now with Game Pass if you have Game Pass for PC. There is no Xbox port just yet. There is rumors that there's an Xbox port coming, but for right now, nothing has been officially announced. It does have cross-platform compatibility with Steam, so if you buy it on the Windows Store, you can play with your friends on Steam. But it's not cross-progression, so just keep that in mind. I played on the Game Pass version for a few months. I eventually picked it up on Steam. I had to start all over with my mastery progression. Had to start over because it wasn't compatible there. But I would say that's no big deal. You can also get Xbox achievements by linking your Xbox account, and of course Steam achievements are there as well if you like those on Steam. So overall, should you buy Age of Empires 4? I think you should. If you're a fan of Age of Empires 2, you'll really like this game. And seeing as how Age of Empires 2 is still getting new content, and that game is coming up on being 15 years old, it's quite incredible. A game that old is getting all of this new content. I think it's safe to say Age of Empires 4 is going to be getting new content for quite some time. And I love that the community is involved in this, and I love making videos on this and playing this game as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you planning on picking up Age of Empires 4, or have you already and you're enjoying it? Let me know in the comments down below. I also have a playlist available of all of the Age of Empires 4 games that I'm uploading to the channel. I think at the time of recording this, I'm coming up on 50 games, so be sure to check that out, and new games are being uploaded all the time on the channel. If this is your first time on TeamRespawn, well, we love to showcase our love of RTS games like Halo Wars and Age of Empires 4. But if you're interested in more of a nostalgia and retro feel in videos, be sure to check out my personal channel, Andy's Arcade. Link to that is in the description. Well, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you, James.